Oh God, not again! Hi friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti, and I'm putting cheeseburger socks on right now. There's a little doggy running around here. There's 2 extra dogs in this house right now, and it's just chaos. Just absolute and utter chaos. And that's fine. Sometimes we must embrace the chaos. Welcome to 2.5-inch Friday. We are going to be diving into the AOS Cine25. This is what I mean by cheeseburger socks. We're going to be diving into the AOS Cine25 build here. And I'm excited, man. It should be a good one. Why? I feel like this camera is pointed upwards too much. There we go. Maybe that's a little bit better. Yeah, we're gonna be diving into this build here. This is the bottom plate with all the standoffs and the really cool AOS logo cut into it. So yeah, this sits on the bottom of the build, and then so what we're gonna be working on is actually the top plate upside down. Lot of standoffs. There are 5 on either side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there are 4 down the middle of each side. So yeah, a very standoff heavy build, but once it's all bolted together, it's very solid. Like these standoffs really do connect everything together really well. So I don't know if it needs to be quite that solid. Like I feel like maybe these center 4 standoffs could have been skipped, But these are M2 standoffs, so they really don't weigh that much. So, yeah. Probably fine. It's probably fine. It'll be fine. It'll be good. It's getting a Vista, OG gray DJI camera. I think I'm going to try a Mamba stack. I haven't specifically heard that everything Mamba makes is terrible, and usually that means that it's like on par with everything else. But you guys tell me, has anybody in chat had good or bad experiences with Mamba electronics? And then it's going to get crossfire. I wish I had an extra... Well, I'm not going to finish the build tonight, but at some point... Oh man, look at me getting down and dirty with this drift car here. At some point, I'm going to snag another... at Grayson Hobby, which is local to me, they've got the Radio Master Express LRS receivers. So I'm going to go snag a couple of those, and I'm going to set this thing up dual receiver like I did the other rig. It's going to get T-motor, 1404, 4600 kV motors. Those are still on the way. Those won't be here until Tuesday, unfortunately. But yeah, that'll be the last thing I do in the build, and I doubt that the build is done by then. What else? So yeah, initially we're gonna put crossfire on it. I guess that's it. That's a full build, I guess. Yeah, that's how we build things. So yeah, this will be a really fun build. This is going to be the complementary build to this one for the Criterium cycle chasing. On May 6th is the next event in Anniston, Alabama, which is drivable, which is really cool. So yeah, this guy is still good to go. I am going to be doing a little bit of testing with propellers. These are the GemFan 2540s. I want as much pitch as I can get without going to extra blades. Going to extra blades is going to really negatively affect efficiency much more than a more pitchy prop will. And a more pitchy prop is better designed to push a faster volume of air down through. And that's what I'm asking these little 2.5-inch props to do. I'm asking them to make a lot of wind speed. So a higher pitch prop is actually going to work better for that. So, yeah, there's a GemFan 2.5-inch ducted. It's meant for ducted rigs. So it's bullnose. It's got the end of the prop looks like it's just shaved perfectly flat. So that propeller probably won't be as efficient as these 2540s, but I think it'll make more thrust, which is what I need on this rig. This is the rig with the Zing 1504 3900 kV motors. This AOS 2.5 is getting the 1404 4600 kV motors. So this AOS rig will probably love these GemFan 2540s, but this rig with the lower kV, higher stator volume motors is going to do better with a more pitchy, more aggressive prop. If the GemFan tri-blade ducted props are not enough for this rig, which I can't imagine that, like, this thing was fine with these 2540s. Like, there were times where I was damn near full throttle to catch up with the riders, or to stay with the riders, but it wasn't very often. So, yeah, this should be fine with those. But if it's not, I can then move to 4-bladed. I don't know if there's any 4-bladed 2.5-inch props. I know that there are 5-bladed 2.5-inch props. I would rather not do that because, like I said, that is going to have an impact on efficiency for sure. Maybe it's not that bad, though. Maybe it's only, I don't know, 5% loss. If it's a 5% loss and I get a bunch more, I will absolutely get a bunch more thrust. That could be worth it. But we'll see. I'll do some testing and see what's going on. So that's the current plan. I can now put this thing back over here where it belongs. And then once this AOS Cine25 is complete, I can dive into the AOS Cine35 build, which is just absolutely massive and very, very heavy. This guy is going to get a big boy ESC. I've got this Acon AK32 pin 20x20 35 amp 4-in-1 ESC, and then I'll probably do just like one of my standard Talon, which is a CL Racing F7 flight controllers on it, Vista, of course, and that's about it. I don't know what I'm going to do for motors. I was thinking about the FPV Cycle 2104 motors, but those are awful big. Maybe I'll try to do something smaller. I still do want to experiment with running this on bi-blades. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a smaller motor. You know what I'll do? 1804s. What's the highest KV 1804 that there is? The only problem with 1804s is going to be that they're not going to love picking up a full-size GoPro. That rig is going to be big enough to pick up a full-weight GoPro Hero 8, 9, 10, 11, and that's kind of cool. That makes it a really nice like dual-purpose rig. So yeah, I don't know. We'll play around with that a little bit. So there are at the moment well maybe. Oh, I could also do the T-Motor 1604s. Is it Pyrodrone that sells both of those motors by size 16? Okay, they do. So there's the KV is a little, well, is the KV low for a 3.5 inch prop? So if I want to try to get that thing below 250, I might be able to get it below 250 dry. This would be the motor that I think I would go with. T-Motor P1604 3800 kV. But there's also a T-Motor 1804 now in, yeah, see the KV is a little bit lower. I would rather go with the X-Nova. So yeah, the T-Motor 1804, the highest KV is 3400. This RC and power is kind of interesting at 3450 kV. But it's not a high enough KV to really go down that road. What I would probably do is the X-Nova M5 mount so that I don't have to worry about T-mount bells slipping off, and do their 3500 kV. Oh no, don't you dare. Don't you dare. I swear to God, if I can't get any more of those motors, I'm going to lose my shit. Do they have a 4-pack available? Please. Oh, no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Don't. Oh, man, Pyrodrone really is the only place that sells them. Hey, if you guys see these 3500 kV X-Nova 1804s floating around on the internet, let me know, because this makes me worry that they're not going to, that they're going to become kind of hard to find. Oh, God, please, no. Please tell me that they didn't, like, discontinue the 3500s or something. I think, though, what you can get is the 3500 kV in T-mount, which is not my favorite, but no, it's sold out too. Shit. Well, that's scary. I have a full set, and then I maybe have 1 or 2 extras, but that's it. I would love to have a million extras because it's just such a brilliant motor. This X-Nova 1804. But now that these T-motors are out, that's a really good sign because T-Motor makes great motors. So yeah, these are probably good. I don't love that these are Pacer branded. That's like their less expensive line. But it's probably completely fine. I mean, it's still a $21 motor, so it should be good quality. In the chat, 90FPV was first, Fun per Volt was next, Gamma Gonad, Flush FPV, Big Fran, Brandon's Baked Beans, Fun per Volt again, Kenny Kobe, Freelo Joe, Brandon's Baked Beans, Athix, Madukar, Kenny Kobe, Brandon's Baked Beans. All right, I think I got everybody. Hey, who was looking for the Tooth Fairy 5-inch arms? Somebody messaged me a week or two ago looking for Tooth Fairy 5-inch arms, and I can't find the message. I have them. I don't know where the message was sent to me. I don't know if it was text, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, email, Patreon. There's a lot of places that you guys reach out to me, and it gets awful confusing. It's very easy for me to forget where it came from, and it gets lost to the ether forever. Kenny Kobe says, "Oh my God, 1605." That's right. So now that it's finally out, I can tell you guys about it. A long time ago, probably like a year and a half ago, before the cinematic gigs really got out of control for Tommy. He contacted me and basically said to me, "Hey, what's the ultimate micromotor that doesn't exist? The size doesn't matter, the KV doesn't matter. What's like the ultimate motor?" And at the time, it was one like I was obsessed with the 1804s, and I said, maybe it's another 1804, but that already exists. And I said, I think maybe 1605 could be even better for freestyle. And we talked about KV, and I'd said, 3500 KV is really good on the 1804, but maybe we want a little bit more KV. And then I didn't hear back because Tommy's been incredibly busy. And then like a week ago, I saw him post this up somewhere, Aerolite 1605 3600 KV. I was like, oh my God, there it is. So yeah, there you guys go. 3mm motor shaft all the way through. I was absolutely adamant about that. What else? Yeah, I mean, these charts are always interesting, but I don't know. It's really hard to get any really good info from here because there's no like control. Like one company's thrust stand could be different than another. But it looks like it's making roughly, so on 3-inch props, it looks like it's making roughly 500 grams of thrust. And that's pretty damn good. That's 2,000 grams total. So if you keep your build weight to 210, 220, 230, that's like an 8 or 9 to 1 power to weight ratio. That's pretty damn good. So yeah, these motors are making good power. 1605 is a really interesting stator size, right? Like you look at you look at the really popular 5-inch freestyle motors, and you look at the relationship of the width of the stator to the height of the stator. So the two sizes that have risen to the top are 2207 and 2306. 2207, right? So take the 7 and multiply it out. 7, 14, 21. 21 is pretty close to 22. So we have roughly a 3-to-1 ratio of width to height. 1605 maintains basically that. 5, 10, 15, 16. So a 6, and this is kind of why in the discussion that Tommy and I had, I said, the 1804s are the best that we've got, but there's just, maybe it's not the right size, but at the moment it was the best. And so 1804, right? 4, 8, 12, 16, and in a bit 17, 18. So that's an over 4-to-1 ratio of width to height, which is closer to like what we do for Cinewhoops. So yeah, this Aerolite 1605 is super interesting. Like that 1605 size it could be it. And the 3600 kV is really, really good. Little on the low side for 3-inch props. So if you're going to run this motor on a 3-inch prop, you're going to want to go as pitchy as you possibly can, which is the Gemfan 3052. Or this is really going to shine on a 3.5-inch propeller. 3.5-inch propeller is going to rip on this motor. Because the top of the motor is completely flat like this, you're probably not going to be able to run the Emax 3.5-inch props, which is a shame because those are the best. But Gemfan just came out with a new 3525 that should be just beautiful on this motor. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Tommy's new motor. It could be the best micro motor ever made. It's hard to tell. The Aerolite 2004s were pretty fragile, so hopefully that's been figured out. I do notice that the motor shaft is just a little tiny nub on these 2004s, which I don't think was the problem, but maybe it could be the problem. On the 1605, it's shown here with a regular length 1.5 mil shaft for the T-mount props. So maybe it's a lot better. I believe that these are made by RC and Power, which is a really good thing. Don't quote me on that. That's not even like me talking to Tommy about it. That's just me looking at the construction of the Aerolite motors that I have bought. And yeah, it just reads to be T-motor. We can also kind of look at Tommy's motor selection, and he sells RC and Power motors, so we can kind of take a somewhat educated guess that he's working with. He has a relationship with RC and Power, so if he was going to go to a company to have a motor made, probably be with them, right? And RC and Power arguably makes the best motors, so that would be a smart choice, and he's a smart guy. So yeah, we'll just make an assumption on that one. I don't ever remember asking Tommy who makes his motors. Not that I would admit that to you, but I to be honest, I don't ever remember having that discussion with him. There's a chance that I did, but there's enough clues on here that I think it's safe to say what's going on. So yeah, there's that, which is cool. He's got this new 2306 that's like really cool looking. 1800 kV is a great RPM. Oh, he does a 5-pack with 10% off. That's really cool. And the weight is not bad. 31.5 with what I'm assuming is full wires. That's a pretty good weight. So this is a really interesting 2306. This could be a good one. His previous 2306 was made by TBS, and much like all TBS motors, it was very fragile. This one, I'm going to make another assumption and assume that it's made by RC and Power. Could be like the jam, yo. Could be really good. It's interesting. So yeah, there's that, which is cool. We're going to do a little bit of mailbag today. I got some packages that I've been meaning to open. And maybe we'll throw a couple of Tiny Whoop batteries up in the air too while we're at it. We got to do more. I got to keep flying the 30. No. Sorry. We are going to do some testing of a newbie drone prototype frame that I can't really show you. I don't know why I would bother showing you anything there, but yeah, there's a newbie drone prototype frame here that I put on my shelf, and to be honest, I kind of forgot about. I'm not thrilled about that, but yeah, it's been a crazy couple of weeks, so that's my excuse. But yeah, we're going to throw some batteries through this, see how it holds up. Kelvin actually sent me this prototype frame in 3 different materials, which is really cool. So I used for the one here, I used the material that I think is going to be the most fragile, because I would love to. That sounds weird to say it, but yeah, I would love to break this and then switch it to the other materials to see if they hold up a little bit better. So yeah, that's the plan for today. In chat, if you want to talk directly to me, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do it and spell it right, it'll light up an orange like this. You can put an @ but you don't have to. You can do that with each other as well. If you type someone else's name and you spell it right and you get the spaces in the right spots, it'll light up an orange for that person. This is my full-time job. If you like what I'm doing here and want to see it continue, I'm funded completely from you beautiful people. This way, when I review stuff, I don't care about the manufacturer because they didn't send it to me free. If they did send it to me free, I still don't care because I'm not like if I trash on something and they say, hey, we're not going to send you anything else, it's like, cool, I didn't ask you for anything in the first place. The companies that choose to send me stuff are the companies that are confident enough in their stuff to want honesty. And they're also companies that want to improve their stuff, right? Like, because they know that they're going to get brutal honesty from me. So, yeah, you guys are the biggest part of this puzzle. You are who allow me to continue doing this full-time 45, 50 hours a week. And it sure means a whole lot, and I'm having a blast doing it. So let's just keep going, goddammit. Someone join the Patreon tonight. We've been getting one new patron every single live stream for a while now. Let's keep that train going. This is the button here to join Patreon. On my Patreon, you're going to get access to Patreon-only live streams and actually an entire YouTube playlist that's private for patrons with almost 80 like unreleased edits, private Patreon-only live streams, all kinds of good stuff. Sketchy flying that I don't want to be public. You're going to get access to 2 different Facebook groups, the full Discord channel with things like the Stick End Fund, where you can rent a box out from me with every single stick end that exists. It shows up, you use them all to see if you like any of them, and then you send the box to the next person, and then you know which ones are the best ones so that you just spend 30 bucks on those rather than buying a set randomly and you don't like them, and you buy another set and you don't like them, and now you're $60 into stick ends, and yeah, it can get a little bit annoying. So yeah, lots of benefits for patrons. And then there's also an Etsy store if you want to buy yourself something nice. It is payday. Buy yourself something cool. There's some fun stickers here and some hardware that might help you during your builds. If there's anything specific that you need, just like let me know. I have a whole bunch of M3 hardware, all different screw lengths of M3 hardware. There's a bunch of M2 hardware up there, but yeah, I have some extra stuff that I'm struggling, lagging behind getting listed up on there. Over on Fiverr, you can work directly with me. I can help you fly better, tune better, or build with parts that don't catch on fire. You'll probably save more money than you spend with me, because as soon as you don't buy the $80 ESC that catches on fire, then hey, you just saved that 80 bucks and all that time. Over on Teespring, there's a bunch of fun apparel and tote bags and all kinds of fun stuff. PayPal, if you don't want the evil YouTube and Google overlords to take 30% of your super chats. And then I've got all these affiliate links. If you replace your bookmarks with affiliate links, or if you cancel out your little suggested, when you type like AMA for Amazon, you can click X to delete your like Amazon.com suggestion, and then if you hit my affiliate link a couple times, your browser will start suggesting my affiliate link when you type AMA. And you can do that for all of these. Affiliate links are free money, and it really makes a huge difference. We Bleed FPV, Newbie Drone, FPV Cycle, Amazon, Get FPV, oh my god, HD Zero, Flywoo, Emacs, Banggood, Camera Butter, AliExpress. So yeah, if you're doing an order on the internet, for the most part, someone has an affiliate link. See if you can take a couple of seconds and hook them up, and they'll keep making stuff for you to watch on YouTube. There's a bunch more stuff here at CiottiFPV.com that you might dig towards the bottom. Just click it and yeah, fart around, see if you like it. Fresh out of the mail from We Bleed FPV. Zotek shot me a quick message and said, yo, look out for your mailbox, there's something coming. And he sent some cool stuff, yo. He sent 2 of these t-shirts. It says, FPV has no borders. I have one for myself, so this one and this one are for you beautiful people. These will be in our upcoming giveaways. This one is medium, and then this one is small. So, you big bastards need not apply. But we'll find somebody. We'll find a medium and a small for those shirts. Very cool. I like mine. They are, they're like that perforated, like, football jersey material. So they breathe like crazy. So those shirts are amazing for summertime. We got a couple of We Bleed FPV koozies, which, again, are going to be featured in giveaways coming up. And then, good lord, Zotek has spoiled you guys. He sent 4 sets of his new 0702 motors. I have rabies. 3 sets of Gores and 1 set of the bleeders. The bleeders are 26,500. The Gores are 28,500. So 2 sets of these Gores are going directly into the giveaways, and then the bleeders I'm kind of interested to try to continue dumping the KV down and seeing how that is affected. Freelojo, thank you for the super chat. I will read the comment in a second here. Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see what the lower KV, although, you know, I've flown the 702 26,000s before that are made by Happy Model, so I guess I kind of know what this KV is roughly like. But it could be cool to do a head-to-head. I'm most excited about these Gore 28,500s, though. This is more my KV, if I'm honest. So, yeah, these bleeders, maybe we'll do a test with them. Maybe they'll just get put directly into a... oh, look, the artwork, the bleeder artwork says V2, but the Gore, this is the old Gore artwork. I bet you Zotek had a bunch of these stickers still floating around. Oh wait, no, these are the OG Gores. He must have had some floating around. Oh, I see what he did. Okay, so he sent me 2 sets of the Gore V2s, and then he must have had this extra set of Gore V1s floating around. Very cool. Very, very cool. Can't get this open, jeez. Okay, I get it. Damn, thank you, Zotek. So I'm gonna hang on to one of these because I do want to test the 28,500 KV version 2. I'm gonna put the bleeders into the giveaways. You guys are gonna be best served with these bleeders. Somebody's gonna love these. 26,500 KV is a lot, and for most people, it is plenty. I'm the nutcase that's trying to do, you know, inverted yaw spins and other dumb things inside the house. So I'm the weird one. But yeah, I'm excited to try these V2 Gores. Nani FPV says... Nani FPV is laughing. Gamma Gonad says, sorry for flaking out on you, man. I can overnight that stuff tomorrow. I haven't been near a post office all week. Gamma, it's all good. Don't overnight. That's silly. Just send stuff randomly. I don't, to be honest, I don't remember what you're sending. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sure I'm gonna love it though. But yeah, no sweat. I do know what you're sending. The Cine25 stuff. Yeah, don't overnight it. Don't overnight it. This build won't be done until the end of the week next week, I'll bet. Just send it regular. It's totally cool. Apex FPV says Grayson Hobby is on point compared to my local hobby shop. Yeah, Grayson has a lot of FPV stuff. It's pretty impressive. Kenny Kobe calling out the Oh My God 1605s. Good call. I saw him the other day and then I just completely forgot about him. I wanted to talk about him. Apex says I was looking for 255-inch arms, but that was a no. What? Oh, 255-inch arms. That's right. I have well, so does anybody have a Tooth Fairy 2 frame? If you've got a Tooth Fairy 2 frame, do you happen to need a set of 5-inch arms? I have a whole bunch of them. So yeah, let me know. Let me know if you need them. We Bleed FPV, thank you so much. Super, super, super generous package of really good stuff for the beautiful gangly gangers. These Gore V2s go right over here. Next up, we've got a box or a package from Eric Moe, and this is a really cool one. Eric sent over this little guy. Man, is that hard to see? There it is. Look how small that is. And a little note that says this is a tiny black box. This is basically an open logger, but even smaller. He's got a link to his GitHub. He says, I think they're small enough to put on and leave on a tiny whoop or micro quad. What do you think? I figured I would send you one to test out. Very cool, Eric. Thank you, dude. I don't have a tiny whoop that I have any plans of putting this in, but this would be really nice for, like, I have a bunch of micros with Talon F4 flight controllers that do not have black box. And so this will be super cool if I'm having tuning problems on one of those to just drop on there. And yeah, I am kind of intrigued by maybe putting it onto one of these Mobula 6s. But I mean, the thing is, like, the tunes are so close to perfect on them. And I don't even know where I would solder it to. I mean, I guess there's an open UART. Is there? I think it's maybe down the bottom there. Is that it? Let's see. Yeah, there it is. RX1 and TX1. Yeah. Cool. So, and I mean, there is room. There's certainly room on the underside. Sorry, Kelvin. There's certainly room on the underside between the battery and the AIO to put it in there. So maybe I will, because I am curious about these. I'm very curious about the Mobula 6s in the Meteor frames that have the crazy KV, 32,000 KV 702s. I don't think there's a lot left in the tune to improve it, but the way to find that out is to get it into black box. So yeah, this is going to be an incredibly handy tuning device for me to just kind of have here. So thank you, dude. This is really, really cool. Brandon's Baked Bean says that Tiny BB project is rad. You need an app to get the log off via Betaflight pass-through. Oh, interesting. Okay. Brandon's Baked Beans dropping the link to the application. Very cool. Hopefully that application is PC and Mac. Yeah, this is nuts, man. Look how little this is. Look how small this thing is. Wild. And I guess it's got a little... Where's the gyro? Yep, it's got a little tiny gyro on there. Let's see if we can read which gyro it is. Winbond 25Q1 28J VPQ. Next line 2215. Next line 6145. Next line 7S4AG. And then there is also a chip on here that says GO, or that might be a Q, 31G8, GQ25Q12, 9RCHNY 246. So one of those is a gyro. If you rewind that and type that string of numbers into Google, it'll find it. It'll find what it is. Yeah, one of those is a gyro. I wonder which gyro it is. Usually the MPU 6000, I believe it says MPU 6000 on it. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, this is very cool, man. This is very, very cool that this exists. So yeah, thank you, Eric, for sending this. This is super rad. I'm gonna put it right there to remind myself that it exists, and then I'll put it on something. Brandon says it's just a flash chip and a microcontroller. It actually gets all the data from the flight controller AIO itself, just like an integrated one. Oh, okay, okay. So it doesn't have a gyro on board. It's just storage. That's actually kind of amazing, because when there's a separate gyro on that, and then you're like VHBing that to the all-in-one flight controller or the flight controller or anywhere, it's not gonna get the proper signal that the onboard gyro is getting, because that VHB is gonna allow it to move a little bit, or maybe it's in a slightly different location than the gyro. So it's always good to get your info from the actual flight gyro that the PID loop is communicating with. So that's very, very cool. Freelojo with a $5 super chat. He says, here's a $5 from Google Play Store points coupon. LOL. Thank you, dude. Joe GFPV with $5 as well. He says, hey, CiottiFPV, I'm looking for a 1S AIO that will work with Walksnail and Crossfire. Any ideas? So you need a 1S AIO that basically has two UARTs. Well, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And it sounds like you want to do everything external. What you want is the T-motor 13 amp. That's exactly what you want. That's the perfect AIO for you. Is that this? Yeah, it is. What is this? Is this HD0? This is HD0. This is exactly what you need. T-motor F4 13 amp 1S AIO. BL Heli 32 on board, no VTX, no receiver, and it also has black box. So you will have everything. You will have BL Heli 32, you will have black box, you will have digital video system, and you will have crossfire. That is going to be a fat ass build, though. What's the build? You're going to need some power to pick that up, and 1S. I don't know if 1S is going to do it. So yeah, hopefully that's not like a freestyle build. That's going to be a porker build. Hopefully that's a toothpick. If that's a ducted tiny whoop, definitely it's going to need to be 75 motor to motor. And you're going to need to put some kV through it. You're going to want like minimum 25,000 kV from a either an 802 or no, yeah, I think that's what you want. I think you want an 802 25,000 kV motor. And yeah, this is the AIO. This is the T-motor 13 amp. No antenna, no UFL, no nothing. Just black box and BL Heli 32. Which is pretty awesome. And it looks like you have to hand solder the little connectors on, but that's pretty easy to do. You won't have trouble doing that. So yeah, this is the best AIO that I can think of. Hopefully it is a toothpick, though, because these T-motor boards are a little bit oversized. They typically, the other one, the lower amp one, does not fit in any of the tiny whoop frames. So, Joe, tell me more about what the build is so that I can make sure that this is going to work. All right, let's get caught up on chat here. Oh, God. Woo. Ethan W. says, what are your thoughts on the company Sub250? I don't think it's a company. It's just a guy on Instagram. And he seems to know what's what. He's built one hell of an Instagram following, that's for sure. And he seems like a nice guy, and his builds fly really well. So yeah, I give him a thumbs up. I don't know anything I don't know anything more on top of that, but yeah, seems like he's doing it right. Brandon Woodford says, "Hey man, happy Friday." Indeed, it is. Thank you, brother. Kevin Sumner says, "I'd love to see those in 4,000 plus kV." Yeah, me too. Me too. But hey, we try. Athix says CiottiFPV doesn't like T-base motors. What are T-base motors? T-bass? T-base? T-bass? Brandon's Baked Beans dropping the Patreon link. Thank you, dude. SOLFPV says, your videos inspired me to take on my first build. I've learned so much from YouTube. Thank you, dude. That's amazing. That, like, yeah. That kind of influence is pretty cool. It's pretty cool for me to kind of do what I love and have it inspire other people to dive into something that can put, you could potentially fall in love with as well. Fair warning, FPV is a very challenging hobby. You got to be pretty stubborn. You got to be willing to put in the work, but it is worth it in my and many others' opinions. But yeah. And one of the reasons that doing your own build is so nice is that once you've done one of these builds from scratch, there's nothing you can't fix. So regardless of what breaks, you're completely confident in ripping it apart and putting it back together. So it's a really big deal. With how good bind and flies are, nowadays, you can just buy bind and flies and become like a full-blown FPV pilot. But when there needs to be some troubleshooting done, you're going to be at a real disadvantage. So yeah, good on you for diving into your diving into your first scratch build, because that's really where you'll learn everything, and it'll serve you really well in the hobby. And I hope you stick around. You're on the right path, that's for sure. EVAFPV says, "What's up, Boo? What's up? How are you?" Brad Bruce says, "What do the V2 Gores look like?" They look the same. They just have a slightly different, more teardropped cutout in the top of the motor. Nothing crazy. I didn't even think to show you guys it because of that, but this is what they look like. Actually, let's do this. This will work better. Or not. Focus, you bastard! What if I put it inside the lens? Will that make it focus? There we go, there we go. It's actually working. And hold on. There it is. Yeah, so there you go. That's what the new V2 We Bleed FPV motors look like. Pretty much the same. Very, very similar. All right. Look at something real quick here, actually. They do have a PCB. That's great. Wonderful. So yeah. Lots of different places to get amazing tiny whoop motors. tinywhoop.com obviously has the biggest selection, but the stock status is always all over the place with them. I mean, as it is with everybody tiny whoop related, especially. Although we're moving out of whoop season, so stock will be a little bit more solid. So yeah, you got tinywhoop.com with a ton of great motors. We Bleed FPV has a bunch of great 702s, and now even Newbie Drone is getting in on the game with their 802 27,000s, which are beastly bastards, and they're wired up to plug into Newbie Drone AIOs, which is amazing. So yeah, a lot of good motors available right now. Bob, no, we got that. Brandon Bean says the link to the app is here. Very cool. Opening that in a tab so that I have it. There we go. Awesome. What else is happening here? Joe G says, thanks. It's for a 75 millimeter. All right. So the frame I'm going to test it for you because I've not had any luck getting the other 5 amp T-motor AIO to fit in any of the actual Whoop frames. I think it was. I think these T-motor boards were built for toothpicks. I can't get the damn thing out. There we go. Okay. So let's take a quick look here. Let me just make sure. So the Mobula 7, the Mobula 7 V4 frame has a little bit more clearance for the X12 AIO that it comes with that is slightly oversized, and it will clear. So this is probably the frame that you want to go with, but just out of curiosity, let me see if it'll fit in like a non-oversized frame. No, it won't. Yeah, it's a little bit too wide. Yeah, so I think there's probably only one frame that's going to work, and luckily that's a really good frame. The Mobula 7 V4 frame. It's this one. It's got 4 supports per duct, and yeah, you can find it. These are in stock all over the place. Mobula 7 V4. That's the frame that you want, and I think that's the only frame that it's going to clear, if I'm honest. So yeah, get that going and profit. Okay, so I'm going to use that board. I'm going to do a Walksnail build with that AIO as a toothpick build with one of the 1S Walksnail VTXs that's coming my way. So that should be cool. One of them is going in a 75 mil chase rig for the drift cars, and then the other one is going to go in a little toothpick build that I'm stacking up on the shelf back there. Freeloader says, Bot just reviewed a Sub250, and it is a company too, I believe. Interesting. Sub250 FPV. What do they make? Frames? Here it is, sub250.com. Oh, right. These guys. Okay. Yeah, this is different than the guy on Instagram. Do they have an Instagram actually? Let's just make sure. Yeah, this is different. They had to take the name Sub250 official here on Instagram because the OG guy that goes by Sub250 has that name. Interesting. Oh, right. They make this little guy that Rosser tested. That's right. I've seen their stuff. I gotta be honest, I have not been overly impressed. I did watch some of Nick Burns' video with that new little rig that Bot was flying around the subways. And that seemed kind of interesting. Very, very heavy, but very durable, which is kind of fun. So, yeah, I don't know. Nothing about them is blowing my mind. You know, like, this build is going to fall victim to all of these builds where they just don't... I just don't understand them. But, hey, it's good to have more than less. Yeah, this thing, I don't know, it didn't... it flew around. It wasn't like... Here it is. This is their brand new rig. Yeah, very interesting. You know, on par with, like, the the tough molded bind and flies from Emax, or I guess just Emax is kind of like the specialist with those types of builds. Athix FPV says the linear antenna is fine on the 1S Walksnail in my opinion. Very cool. Good to know. Athix says TB ass. Oh. Nice. Kevin Sumner says, how dare you? Whoop season is 365 days a year. Yeah, seriously. Nowadays it really is, with how good they fly. Jesus. Last little bit of the old last little glimpse of my mailbag. is a box from FPV Cycle. We opened this the other day with the prop guards in it. I didn't show you these. These are the 3.5-inch arms that these are specifically meant for, but I'm hoping that these will work on the Cinewhoop arms, which we might try in just a second. But hold on, let me dump the rest of this out. I snagged one of these little Vista antennas just because I'm having a hard time finding, and I'm not having a hard time, but when I place an order, I haven't been finding a lot of antennas for left-hand circular polarized antennas. I really want true RCs, but they're always sold out. So yeah, I just snagged one of these because it was a couple of bucks, and I think I needed to get over the free shipping threshold too, so that was nice. And from what I've heard, these antennas are fine. I'm pretty sure that these are made by True RC. The only thing is this is a little short here, but it prevents it from getting mangled. It just, you don't get great, you want the antenna up higher to get better signal strength and to get the head of the antenna away from the things like the LiPo battery. Cool, and I also snagged, oh that's right, I snagged 2 sets of these because apparently they're very fragile. A couple of FPV Cycle stickers, they always hook you up. And then I snagged another big old 4S battery for the heavy Cinewhoop. GNB's been putting some cool stickers in lately. Yeah, this time it's so I already have the GNB 1100 that Bob sells. Apparently he also sells a 1250. So yeah, great big battery for the big fat Cinewhoop with the 3500 kV 2104s on it. Just, you know, that's more of like it's become more of like the working rig. Although I'm not getting gigs that require me to fly that anymore, unfortunately. So I don't know. I was gonna build. I was planning on building another Cinesplorer, but I'm not getting gigs where I fly the damn thing anymore. So I'm definitely not gonna build another one. And I was actually gonna tear the. I was gonna tear the Tooth Fairy 2 apart a little bit and make it into like a 3-inch freestyle rig, but I'm not going to do that anymore because of these. And really quickly, we can probably take a look at whether or not these will clear on these arms. So these are the Cinewhoop. These are the Tooth Fairy 2 Cinewhoop arms. And then, so if this thing bolts down there, all right, so I need 2 of these. You guys over here. So basically, we're just going to test it on the side here. And so if these guys bolt on there and here, looks like there's plenty of room, right? So those bolts on there, and like look at these. This is what we're concerned with, right? So that and that. There's nice distance between those ends. And then let's take a look at these guys here. I'm gonna take off the packaging, guys. Are you ready? There it is. Was it good for you? Something so satisfying about peeling off. Okay, so these fellas are gonna sit like that and like that. Let's get this lined up here. Okay, so that's gonna sit like that and that. And then this one over here is gonna sit like this. There. And there. Okay. And then when they're oh, nope, they will not clear. Okay. So that ain't gonna work. So the 3.5 inch arms are gonna be necessary, which is kind of annoying. I was really hoping that they would work on these arms so that this could be like a super versatile rig. I'm guessing that these 3.5 inch arms are more of like a true X. Yeah, they are. Yeah, so hold on. How do these guys mount? Surely it's not like that. What the hell? Oh, I'm stupid. This isn't the Tooth Fairy. I'm the worst. I am the worst. That was a Cinesplorer. Man, I was like, what the fuck is the disconnect here? These arms aren't even remotely close to being right. Okay, so let's try this again. That lines up like that, and that lines up like that. And then this guy goes here and here. And okay. That guy goes there. And nope, yep, they're still overlapping each other. Yeah, it's still not going to work. Okay. So now if I look at these, they lock up like that. And this locks up like this. I assume. Well, no. I mean, that looks pretty damn even. They do look like they're a little bit longer. I guess maybe I'm holding these arms upside down. Nope, definitely not holding the arms so that... Yeah, I guess these 3.5 inch arms are just a little bit longer. And they might be more of like a True X kind of configuration. But man, is that close? That is almost the exact same motor mounting location. Interesting. I will try these guards on these arms for sure. I just need to remove these prop guards. I like to stuff like this, like dry fitting frames and stuff like this. I always throw it over on the coffee table, and then when I'm trying to relax at the end of the night and like watch, you know, things on YouTube or Netflix or Hulu or Prime, I'll just sit there with the MIP drivers and just turn screws. So this will be perfect to kind of do that with. So yeah, I should know that by tonight. I'm actually gonna move this stuff over there to the couch right now so that there's no excuses. Because I really want to know. This is an intriguing little setup here that I'm wondering if I can make work. I wonder if I can run like a slightly shorter standoff to stagger these guards so that they do overlap. Because I know that the propellers will clear. 3.5 inch propellers will clear. So yeah, although I gotta be honest, what I would really love is a 3-inch prop version of this guard, because that would definitely clear these arms and just kind of be perfect for what I'm looking for. So I gotta be honest, after I confirm that these won't work with these existing whatever, I'll almost certainly be bugging Bob to take the CAD file and just shrink it down, and then yeah, 3-inch version would be kind of amazing. June Logo says what's up, and yeah, cool. My my mailbag is cleared out. Words that everyone longs to hear. Let's fly a tiny whoop before we dive into this AOS Cine25 build. And it's going to be this. So this is basically a Happy Model Mobula 6 with 702 30,000 kV motors, but on a prototype frame from Newbie Drone. They're calling it the frame. What is this? Oh, right. Cockroach 65, which I think is the same. I think the current 65 frame they just call the Cockroach frame. Don't quote me on that. Or it might just be like Cockroach brushless frame. I think this one's going to be known as the Cockroach 65 frame. But don't quote me on that, because it's still in prototype. But it's interesting. I got to give it that. It's thus far, I've been able to push my PIDs up really high. So I don't think Kelvin wants me really talking much about what the deal is with the frame. But there are many of you that will be able to guess what the deal is with it from the things that I tell you about it, which is fine. But yeah, it has allowed me to push my PIDs through the roof. This AIO was in a 75 mil rig with the 603s on it, and I had the master multiplier down at 1.5. When I put this frame on, I flew it for a minute, and then I pushed that master multiplier all the way up. I'll show you here to 2.0, and it's completely fine with it on 2.0. Which makes me kind of wonder, like, how much further. Let's push the D gains all the way up to 1.5. See what happens. There's got to be a limit somewhere. Well, all right, there's the limit. We found the limit. All right, so that's too much. Not surprising. That's a horrendous amount of PID gain. I'm actually going to leave the D gain turned up, and I'm going to turn the master multiplier down, because I don't necessarily want all the extra, like, feed forward and I gain and other stuff that comes along with the master multiplier. So now we're just in a situation where we have a metric ton of D gain. Like, this is more D gain than I've ever had on a tiny whoop, and I'm playing Plinko. Let's give it a little more P gain though. It feels a little it feels a little overdamped right now. So let's give it a little bit of a bump in P gain. D max is cranked up pretty aggressively. Let's turn the I gains down. All right, let's see how that is. So here you go. Oh God. Well, we are testing the durability. Where the hell am I? Oh, I'm on top of the cage. That's interesting. Let's get it upstairs and really slam it into some stuff. Although, I don't want to make the dogs upset. I don't know where they are, though. That was me not going full throttle. This is a little bit heavier than I'm used to. All right, there's a dog yelling. I'm going to come back downstairs. Oh, sorry, doggy. Dog is like, what the fuck is that thing? Jack, it's okay. Stop barking. Hold on, I gotta go find it. Oh, man. I've made a mistake. It's okay, guys. It's okay. All right, you're good. Good doggies. Good boy. Just gotta reason with them sometimes, you know? You just gotta reason with them. They're open to reason. Dogs are open to reason. They understand English. They know the English language. Oh, was that a propeller coming off? Yeah, it was. Oh, it's sitting right next to it. What a bonus. All right, cool. Let me Let me just really quickly score up the inside of this propeller so that doesn't happen again. And let's score up the top as well. There we go. All right, we should be good. Although I think this battery is pretty much done. Right? Where's this battery at? 3.7. Gonna run it a little bit more. Oh, this thing's getting hot. Let's just give it a second to cool off a little bit. This is one of the other modes on this Weebleed FPV LED gate. This is meant to be a cube, but I didn't read the directions and I couldn't figure it out, so I set it up as a little X or plus, which is kind of cool. So yeah, there you go. Let me get this on the scale real quick. Kind of curious. So this is a Mobula 6 ELRS AIO and Mobula 6 Canopy, Runcam Nano 3 on BT 2.0. 20.5 grams, not bad. 20.5. And so, yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Let's throw another couple of batteries through it. I just want to keep kind of pounding on it to see how it holds up. It's also set up where you can mount... It's set up similar to the Cockroach 75 frame, where you can mount a 20 by 25 by 25 thing on the bottom as well, where the on the underside. So like, yeah, that's something that's always been kind of interesting about the Cockroach 75 frame. But oh, are you kidding me? You're fucking kidding me. You are absolutely kidding me. Oh my god. How is it possible? There's like a 2-inch space in this room that's in the middle of the couch that's fully unrecoverable. And I found it. How insane is that? Alright, let's keep going here. Well, it looks like the up tilt. It looks like there's a whole bunch of up tilt right now, so hold on, let me push this camera down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Look, this is loosened up a little bit. Let's just crank this screw down. Crank this screw down. Alright, that should be a little bit better. There's still no ducts in view, though. That's kind of wild. I guess there's a little tiny bit of duct in view. This is the current generation Runcam Nano 3. Oh boy, that was... Oh, don't... Please no. Unreal. Let's just find all the unrecoverable spots. What do you say? What do you say? Okay, found another one. Put that over there. Yeah, so I have I have this Weebleed gate in another one of the million different modes that are built into it. This one is red and white. Red and white rotating. Kind of like whatever's. Oh boy. No. Okay. Ah! Stop it! Oh my god, really? I just wanted to fly through the gate. I mean, I was tempted to Manny flip it, but then I was like, nah, just get through it. Oh, let's throw another battery on. Frame seems fine so far. No braking. These 65mm rigs are interesting. Like, they're so light that they crash really, really well. So, like, making a frame that's strong enough but not overly strong is kind of the name of the game. And I love that Kelvin sent these out for some abuse. I wish that I'd... tested it a little bit sooner. But all's well that ends well. Let's get it, motherfuckers. No. No. I want to try some big moves to put some good slams into this thing, and I think the mega power loop is the way to do that. So let's do a bunch of them. Oh, there's a a clean one for that ass. Here we go. Oh, really? I hit the effing wire? Come on now. What is happening? Everybody leave me alone. I just want to fly. I mean, I'm purposefully, like, really throwing it around to try to crash, but then, like, my natural reaction is like, ah, I suck. Oh, a big one. That was a big mega power loop. Oh, so was that. It's such a big move, man. It's like so much throttle. Oh my god, I'm hitting them all over the place now. Let's see here. Oh god. Face first. This is what I want though. Like I'm trying to find hard objects to slap this thing into. That's what she said. Wait, hold on. Another battery. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. Ramdonko says, did you see Kebab's frame video? H pattern. I did. Yeah, we've been talking about some of his frame stuff for a little bit. It's interesting. Man, it looks weak, but you know, for cinematic shit, like we don't need to prioritize strength. So these frame designs that handle vibrations really well really start to make a lot of sense with what's happening in FPV as it sort of matures, right? Like nobody's really watching freestyle videos anymore. I hate to admit that, but it's pretty true. Obviously not nobody, but just the FPV is not really about freestyle exclusively like it used to be. So I'm checking the motor shafts. I have a little bit of a concern with this frame that it's gonna bend motor shafts. Ow! It's my arm. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. Thus far, we're okay, though. We are fucking in it, yo! Oh, God! I think it went through and I just didn't even see it. Oh, God. Stop it. Tried to drop it down in this little crevice here. Ah! Stop bouncing. Oh boy. Oh god, no! I gotta be honest about something, friends. Yes, this rig is a little bit heavier than the other Mobula 6 builds on the Meteor frames, but it's not that much heavier. This is on 702 30,000s. I have been flying the 702 32,000s and the crazy KV prototypes and the 603 30,000s so much that this no longer feels like a lot of power. which is just absurd, because it is. Like, this is plenty of power. But for freestyle, this no longer, like, screams I'm mega power anymore. Just for me, just because I'm, like, broken now. Oh, boy. That wasn't even close to high enough. Oh. Oh. That is crazy. That is absurd to me that this doesn't feel more powerful than it is. Let's just do a straight up crash test. I mean, that's as much stress as I can put on the frame. I flattened it out right before it hit. Oh, I didn't mean to hit the mirror. Yeah, I mean, that's... Like, when you crash it nose down, it slams the canopy and takes a lot of the hit with the canopy. So yeah, if you flatten it out right before it goes in, it's just gonna bang the shit out of the front of the frame. And man, this is it's absolutely fine. No shit. If I could fly upstairs, I could really punish it, but I don't want to drive the... Maggie's trying to get work done, and you know the dogs are gonna go nutso. So we can keep it down here. 821. Let's do one more. Let's do 2 more. We'll do 2 more batteries. Let's fly this thing hard. Try to put some real anger into it. Oh God! Uh-oh. I'm inside of a prop bag. Nope. Ain't coming out of there. Oh, wow. This fell way down. Oh, wow. Okay. That makes sense why it wouldn't come out. All right, here we go. Maximum anger. Man, it's nuts with the PIDs turned up this high. Woo! Shit! Oh, God. Easy. Oh, no! What? How did it get in there? That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Oh, God. I bounced off the couch. Crash recovery turned on for a split second. And then it just kind of came back to life. That was wild. Oh, God! That was actually a pretty hard hit. Apologies if this is hard to watch, but I'm just, you know, I'm just trying to slam this thing around. Oops. Oh, God! Oh, God! I'm just trying to, like, do things that I don't normally do that are, like, extra aggressive, you know? To really punish it. Oh, shit. Man, this new little newbie drone setup is great. Up, over, and around. Oh, that would have been sick. Oh, I'm in my battery area. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God, why? I mean, this is proper durability testing up in here, in my opinion. I like this as a... I gotta be honest, I like this as like a little cross here. Uh-oh. Battery's going dead. Oh, boy. Come home. Make it. Yay! Alright, one more. Marcel off Axis made some banana bread tonight. I think he put a banana in a bun. Brandon's Bean says, try taking the damping up further step by step. Then do the same with tracking. It's got so much PID gain in it though that like it just doesn't need anymore. Like it's just ridiculous how much is already in there. And like these motors make good power, so it's just flies great. I'm not in the camp of like just continuing to push the PIDs just for this, just because. I mean, it's interesting. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, let's do it. What the hell? Go up to 1.8 here. Go up to 1.5 here. Let's see what that's like. Come on. Now it's on the edge. So this is on the edge of what's possible, and now it feels overtuned now. It's like there's almost like a delay. But there's also like a lack of looseness. I don't know, it's hard to quantify, but it just feels like it won't get out, like it doesn't want to get out of its own way. It's not like loose enough when it's like that. I don't know. It's a terrible way of describing it, but I like it better turned down a little bit. So I'm gonna bring it back here. See if I can pick out the difference. Come on, man. Yeah, it's just a little bit more freed up like this. It was interesting just now with the gains through the roof like that, but this is completely fine. Like, try to pick out any prop wash anywhere, right? And like there just is none with it like this. Woo, shit. We are boogieing now. Oh god. That was a funny crash. Tried to power lift the TV. I think I just hit the TV basically. Cleared it. Wow. Holy shit. All right, there was a little prop wash. I mean, that was like ridiculously I really threw it into that prop wash there, so I'm not really mad at it for that. I pushed on the disarm switch, but I didn't push it hard enough to trigger it, and it took care of me. Oh, oh, oh boy. Oh. I will say this, the motors are getting a little bit more noisy. Oh, this battery's done. So there we go. That's like 6 batteries of durability testing with this frame. And this is, of the 3 different materials that this prototype frame was made with, this is the material that I assume would be the most fragile. And it's completely fine. These props are trying to escape, though. That's kind of funny. Get back on there, little fella. Yeah. Completely fine. I wish I could show it to you. It's a cool design. But some of you probably have already guessed. Very cool. Look at Newbie Drone making some stuff, yo. Continuing to push tiny whoops. That's pretty impressive. I gotta be honest. When I looked at that frame, I was like, "Ooh, this gonna break. It's gonna rain." What's that from? It's gonna rain. That's a comedy routine or skit or meme or something like that. It's gonna rain. What's the weather look like? It's gonna rain. Here are the new GemFan 3525s. I haven't actually flown them yet. I'm gonna fly him on that Tooth Fairy 2 though, when I swap those arms out and put those guards on. All right, yo, let's dig into the American Dad weather guy. Fair enough. Blackie weather forecast. Oh boy. Brains Baked Beans, we got that. Marcelo, and then we got that, and cool, we caught up. Let's dive into this AOS Cine25 build. So I've already bolted down the Vista, and I have mounted the DJI camera to the vertical camera plates, and tested the wire and made sure that that's going to be long enough. So that's kind of all good to go. I'm going to be using a little True RC OCP, left-hand circular polarized UFL antenna. And then, yeah, I've got this little Mamba stack. Hey, chat, tag me and tell me if you've had a good or bad experience with Mamba stuff. So this is the Mamba stack, 30 amp mini 20x20 ESC. It is 2S to 5S, 30 amps by 4, regular old BL heli, so we'll put this on Blue Jay. I wish I could find a good, reliable, cheap 20x20 lightweight ESC that had BL Heli 32 on it. I loved those SpeedX GS25s, and I have a bunch of them, but they're all kind of like slowly starting to shit the bed. So I'm not really using them anymore. Apparently Blue Jay is going to be doing high and low PWM, so you can run 24K low PWM and then 48K high. Once that comes out, the BL Heli is completely fine, but at the moment, BL Heli 32 offers that high and low, which are kind of nice. So Denzel the Terrible says, run those Vista wires under the Vista, have some respect. EVFPV says, what FC? The matching Mamba flight controller, Mamba F722 Mini. And then Cold Front and Penguin said, what's a good beta preset for a mod long range quad? Fly it on the stock setup and see how it is first, Cold Front. Danzilla the Terrible says, run those Vista wires under the Vista, have some respect. So the reason why I typically don't do that is that I like to use the carbon fiber frame as a heat sink. And the way that I do that is by bolting the Vista straight down to it, and then I use this heat transfer tape that you can buy from Amazon. And it's blue like this, like you'll find it. And so yeah, I'm going to take a little strip of this blue heat transfer tape, and I'm just basically gonna put it on this little X for the carbon fiber, so that once I pull this thing down with the screws into it, the heat transfer tape will transfer the heat off of the Vista into the carbon fiber, and now I've got a bigger heat sink, which, you know, when doing these cycling events is actually kind of a big deal, because I'm parking the quad and letting it sit, and the Vista just gets hot as hell. I would love to be able to not... Like, usually what I do is I park the quad and I wait for the cyclist to come back around, and I'll just let it idle, and I'll just let it blow some air while it's idling. I would love to save the battery power and not have to idle it. So that's kind of the thinking. 2 of the Cinesplores have this set up, and it seems to work really well. I've never, like, tested it head-to-head against one that I haven't done this with, but, I mean, you know, like, when I've done this whole area of carbon fiber will get noticeably hot. So I know that it's working. EVFPV says, is it the Mamba F722 DJI Mini Mark II? I don't think it's that one. It's not. No, it only has the one. The DJI version has a second plug header that you can plug DJI into. This is like the regular version. I think it's an MPU 6000 even. It is, yeah, InvenSense MPU 6000. I've actually been pretty impressed by this flight controller. I have this identical flight controller on the 5-inch glide that's like the test bed rig that I batter the living hell out of. And it's been completely bulletproof. So I'm kind of into that. AJSR71 says, why don't you put a pit switch on it? I would not want to turn off the Vista because I need to be able to see the cyclists coming around. And also turning off the Vista runs the risk of the smart controller not wanting to connect back up, and that's just a complete nightmare. So yeah, I would definitely not want to cut power to the Vista. The Vista needs to stay powered up the whole time. All right, so they give you 2 different grommets, one in light blue, one in pink, and I wonder if they're different durometers. It doesn't really feel like that. Let me swap them. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's different durometers, just different colors for funsies. So let's do the light blue ones, I think. Well, maybe. I don't know. I have these. These are T-motor ones over here. Are they any different? Oh, they are a little bit different, actually. I'm going to keep those separated. Okay. So Mamba puts these slots on the outside here of the mounting holes. And man, is that nice, because you can just take your grommet and just kind of pinch it a little bit and just push it right in. And it really just makes getting these grommets into these holes completely a no-brainer. Which is like a subtle thing. And I mean, it's really not the end of the world, but that nobody else does that. But that is definitely a nice little thing. So let's start to figure out how all this stuff is going to get mounted. We're going to do the ESC on the bottom, of course, and I think we can run the power leads out the side here. I shouldn't need this. Hold on, let me bring this guy over. EVFPV, got that. AJ, got that. Ryan says, you know anything about MPU 6500s? I do. You want to stay the hell away from them, Ryan. MPU 6500s are bad news. Very, very noisy gyros. Eva says, okay, good. I had gyro issues with 2 of those. That's annoying. Denzel the Terrible says, one is stiffer than the other. They are different stiffnesses. Really? Ooh. Good for you, Mamba. Good for you. Did they call that out anywhere? Did they say which one is a higher or lower durometer? Durometer is a measure of stiffness is not the right word. I think it's a measure of compression, basically. It's how much a material will squish and compress. EVFPV says, all my Mamba ESCs have been rock solid, though. Nice. And so, yeah, EVFPV having gyro issues with 2 of these, that's typically the gyro failing. That really doesn't have anything to do with the flight controller itself. That has to do with InvenSense. What it probably is apparently there was a big run of fake MPU 6000 gyros. So that would be my guess as to what's going on there. And I mean, this might be one. This might have a bad one in it too. We'll figure it out once I get it up in the air, but we'll see. Marcel Off Axis says blue is stronger, pink is softer. Very cool. Well, I'm doing the blue ones, which I tend to not go super soft with the soft mounting on flight controllers. Like, you would think that would help, but in my experience, like, you don't want the soft mounting to be very, very soft. That kind of it just doesn't seem to work as well as you would think. So I keep the if given the option, I'll soft mount harder. Sounds very weird, but yeah. All right, and let's just get this in here. Okay, just want to kind of separate some stuff out here. This is a little Crossfire Nano. So, one of the things I really like about these AOS frames is he's got it set up so you can mount 20 by 20 in the middle, 20 by 20 front, 20 by 20 rear. Unfortunately, if you mount 20 by 20 front or rear, you can't use the middle. If you mount 20 by 20 in the middle, that's it. You're done. You can't use any of the other 20 by 20 mounts. So yeah, in my case, I'm going to have to use the rear 20 by 20 and then the front 20 by 20. And I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's just, it makes the, you know, with the ESC mounted up here, the front arms are going to have like this weird wire run here. And then the rear arms are going to have this big long wire run. Again, not the end of the world, just a silly little thing. I kind of wish that Chris had moved the rear, the front 20 by 20 mounting kind of has to stay where it is because of the camera plates here. But I wish that the rear 20 by 20 mounting had been shifted like a 1/4 of an inch backwards. And I mean, there's room to, I guess there's not room to do it. He would have had to move this little X here a little bit rearward, but there's kind of no reason not to move this little X rearward. It's a subtle thing, but if it were my perfect version of this frame, yeah, the rear 20 by 20 would be shifted back, because I would love to run the Vista in the back and then the stack right in the middle, and then that would give a ton of room for the camera up front, and then I could put like a capacitor up here. But instead, what I think I'm going to do is maybe put the capacitor right here. I think I might be able to... How big of a capacitor do they give you? I usually like to try to use the caps that they give you, because in theory, that's the maximum size that really makes sense. That they wouldn't buy a ton of capacitors that are needlessly large. So let's take a look. It looks like they've put a, what is this, a 330? No, this is a 470, 35 volt 470. I wonder if when this is mounted, that will clear. Ooh, it will. Look at that. So I think I'm gonna, yeah, run this capacitor right off the ESC here, and just have it hang. I don't love having them hang, but it's usually completely fine. There's plenty of space there for this guy just to hang out in the middle here. That'll save me a little bit of time. Very cool. Okay, so that's looking good. This ESC is very flat on the bottom, which is really cool. So I can mount it like this, or I could technically mount it upside down. When you mount it upside down, it does make it a lot harder to plug this guy in. The standoffs that this thing comes with are pretty damn long, so I'm not going to run into any issues with build height. So I'll probably run the stack a little bit taller than I really need to, so that I can make the... yeah, I got so much space in here. If I run bigger bigger spacers below the ESC and then in between the ESC and the flight controller, it'll just make it a little bit more serviceable, which is always a really good thing. So let's get started with that process. And it begins with a box with all of the all the different M2 screws in it. I'm going to take a guess, M2 by 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and then so 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 is how I have this set up. So this is 20. Let's go with, I think this is 25. This is like the longest that's in here. Oh, no, it's not. That's weird. How long is that? Hold on. Did I not set these up the way that I thought? No, yeah, that's right. I think maybe this is 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 25, and then I guess over here is 30. I guess these absurdly long ones are 30s. So let's go here with these. I think these are 22s, and I have a whole bunch of them. So let me try to use 4 of these guys. To save a little tiny bit of weight, I do have this Vista only bolted down with diagonal screws and nuts. Not a big deal, but because of the fact that all I'm doing is pulling it straight down into the base plate, it really doesn't need all 4. These 2 in the diagonals will pull it flat down against the base plate, and it'll be completely fine. So yeah, let's try these guys, and then I can move over here to our goodie bin, and let's go with, I have this little bag that's been sitting here for months, and it's got a very specific assortment of hardware in it, which means that it's for something, but it's been sitting here so long that I'm actually just going to bail on it and put them away, and I can always get them back out. But yeah, let's use 4 of these nylock nuts, and then, well, no, I used black ones on there, so let me be a complete nut job and dig through here for 4 more black ones, because, you know, if you're going to be crazy, you might as well be crazy all the way. That's my philosophy. That's my philosophy. All right, let's put these guys back. Oh, you know, I actually know what this is for. This is for the these are for the glides. These are for the glides. I'm actually going to put this back. Tracy P says, cool live stream. Where can I find the Magic Mobula 7 Jungle Gym Basher? It is on Joshua Bardwell's website, FPV Know It All, and then in the ultimate shopping list, you're going to go to the Tiny Whoop section, and it is in there. It's basically, though, it's very simple. It's just a Mobula 7 ELRS 1S, and then you switch the motors over to the new tinywhoop.com 1.5 millimeter motor shaft 0802s, and then you put the GemFan biblades on it, and you convert it over to BT 2.0, and that's it. That's the full ultimate jungle gym bashing build. So yeah, very, very simple. All pretty much like off-the-shelf components and whatnot, so you don't have to do any crazy customization. And when you break it, you don't have to like re-customize a bunch of stuff. That's something that I learned from motorsports. Like if you spend 100+ hours on your race car doing all this custom shit, and then you take it to the racetrack and somebody slams into you, or you put it into a concrete barrier, you're going to be absolutely heartbroken on so many different levels, like a financial level and a time level. So, yeah, super annoying. Oh, God, good call, Gamma Gonad. Remember, you're building upside down. Yeah. So, I am going to keep the ESC on the bottom, though, which will be the top, mainly because on the other side of this is where the arms mount. So I want to keep the wire runs between the ESC and the arms as flat as possible. So yeah. Good reminder though, man. Thank you for that. So let's see. Let's throw these screws on and see how long they really are. And in order to do that, to kind of start speccing out a build, I'll just do 2 in diagonal corners, and then you can kind of drop stuff down on that and see what it looks like. So we'll put some nylock nuts on here. I loved, so this is actually a really important part of all flight controller mounting. You absolutely need to make sure that the screws that your flight controller is going to live on cannot do this. And the easiest way to prevent that from happening is to put a metal nut on and crank it nice and tight down on the base plate. That's really important. If you just run these screws up like this and you just drop the ESC down on there and then drop the flight controller on top and then you use these nuts to pull the whole stack down, believe it or not, the entire stack will be able to wiggle like this, and that will cause massive, massive, massive problems. So yeah, make sure. Chris Rosser has a video about it, and he calls what I'm doing right now the golden nut, which is funny because I'm 8 years old. But yeah, this is actually really important to get the screws that your flight controller is going to sit on just like welded down basically, and you want to make sure that those screws will sit perfectly vertical without needing any Denzel the Terrible says, watch out for stack screw height at the front. If it is anything like the AOS 3.5, if they are too tall, they can interfere with the camera mount plates at on the top. Very good call. We'll take a look at that in 1 second. Let's just get this first nut driven down here. Actually, we'll look at it with the next one, because this one is the rear diagonal. Jesus, I'm doing this backwards. Let me spin this guy, and I'll just keep this guy solid. There we go. These WeHa drivers are really easy to spin quickly, and they're really comfortable. And they have this nice little red cap on the back that swivels, and then the driver itself is thin here, so like every crank you get more rotation out of than like the MIP drivers. And man, that just barely bottoms out. So I'm going to need to grab that nut with a pair of pliers and rotate the Allen screw. All right, here we go again. Man, when these nylock nuts are fresh, they are stubborn bastards. Jesus. Gamma Gonad says it's not like the 3.5. You're good. Very cool. Very, very cool. Love that. All right. And let's just keep going here. All right, now it's once you've threaded it a bunch, though, the nylon does release a little bit. I'm having to use my arm. I'm not able to use just my fingers for this. All right, cool. So let's grab. So yeah, even now, it's still no good. Like there's still a bunch of wiggle, and you cannot have that, man. You absolutely cannot have that. You would think that by putting this down and then putting this down on top of it, that it would like sure those up, but it really doesn't. The whole stack will just wiggle around. It's real bad. And it's and like you won't think it's bad. You'll look at it and be like, nah, man, it's just extra soft mounting. That should be helping. But yeah, you don't want a ton of soft mounting like that. You want like just a little bit. It's mainly the high frequencies that I believe the soft mounting is attacking. And yeah, you don't want a big amount of movement like that for those high frequencies. You want a smaller amount of play. So there we go. Those are now nice and tight, and you can check it by just grabbing them and giving them a little wiggle. And you don't want to see any movement at all. The movement is the frame. Like if I hold the frame against the desk, there you go. Now you can see that's not going anywhere, and neither is this one. Cool. So let's drop this ESC on here and see what that's all about. All right, tons of room. Cool, nothing but room on that. And then we've got the flight controller up on top here. And now these grommets are pretty tall on the bottom, so they might actually be... Oh, wow, I've got a lot of extra. Okay, well, that's fine. So we got a little bit of conflict here. We've got... I guess they've put a boot button on the bottom of this thing that's hitting into that. But I mounted this in a way that's kind of dumb. I want to mount it with the... I had the USB facing forward. So if I mount it with the USB sideways... Let's see. That's probably going to... Nah, it's still not quite clearing. So that's fine. I mean, we got just acres of extra standoff here, as you can see here and there. I might actually go to a shorter screw because even with a bunch of extra propping up, there's just, yeah, this is just an absurd amount of extra. It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. What's it hitting on now? Oh, it's hitting there. Yeah, so I mean, you can't really slam. This is not a stack that's... Well, you could slam this stack. The way that you would slam this stack would be to take this ESC and mount it upside down. And that's going to take this big, thick connector, and it's going to put it downwards, and it's going to use the gap that we've built up on the bottom of this thing from these nylock nuts. Like that. So that's how you would slam the stack. You'd put that down. And it's actually not that big of a deal because you've got access to it down here with this nice big cutout. So this would actually be fine to mount this like this. But well, I mean, now I'm tempted to mount it like that. It is sitting a little bit sideways. I would need a little bit of a spacer here. Luckily, Mamba made this ESC the same top and bottom. You've got full motor pads on both sides and full voltage pads on both sides, which is really handy. Really, really, really handy. All right. So these screws are definitely too long. Let's get them swapped out. That'll make it easier to build too because I won't run out of depth on the driver again. So let's do that real quick. I think we'll just go to 2 mil shorter. See what we got in the little kit there. So let's just remove these. All right. 8:58. Holy crap. Go get you some bot grinder in 2 minutes, friends. He's going live at 9 o'clock. Tell him that I sent you if you'd like. If not, that's cool. Oh, shit. I haven't seen Bot around in a while. I hope he's doing well. I love that guy, man. Consider myself very lucky to have him as a friend. Really, really cool dude. Never forget when I first met him at Quad Camp, and it was just so cool that there was somebody from... I mean, at the time, it was just really cool that there was somebody from Philly, but then as I got to know him, and I think he crashed at my apartment at one point. Just such a cool guy, man. Just like such a cool guy. And such a perfect example of how fucked it is to judge a book by its cover. Like, anybody that judges Bot by the tattoos on his face is just like missing out on such a cool person. It's really cool that there's such a good example of that, you know? And like, we all know that, but we're all guilty of it, myself included. And it's just great to have a reminder of that. It's pretty slick. We're very lucky. All right. So we're going to go to a shorter screw here. And then I think, so I don't have the motors yet. The motors won't be here till Tuesday. So there's kind of no reason to put the ESC down yet. I guess maybe what I'll do is just throw the flight controller on here and just start figuring out how long the cable runs need to be, and just like get the Vista and the Crossfire Nano soldered up to the flight controller. And then it's just a cable from the flight controller to the ESC, and then when the motors get here Tuesday, I can just drop those on, solder them up, and we'll kind of be done. So I guess, yeah, I'll just do everything other than motors. And then, yeah, we'll just knock it out real quick Wednesday, I guess. Mutterton says, I was at the Florida meetup with Bot. He drove me around the entire weekend. He's a solid dude for sure. Yeah, he's just a good one, man. He's just one of these rare, just like really good people that just loves to help others out and lift others up rather than shitting on them, you know? And like, God, we need as much of that as we can get. More and more every day, it feels like. And there it is, 9:00. Go get you some Bot, friends. If for some reason you don't want to watch Bot tonight, I'm going to do a little bit more work here, but I am going to shut this down sooner than later to try to convince you to head on over there. Okay, so one shorter is going to be over here, right? Is that 2 mil shorter? It is indeed. All right, cool. So let's use... I'm just sort of digging around here off camera. We got 1. We got 2. Move these guys out of the way. I have 2 different lengths in a bunch of these locations because I don't have a... Yeah, I mean, M2 screws are so small, it's kind of pointless to use the bigger organizer for them. So 3 and 4. Okay, great. Let's put these guys away. And all will be well. Okay, beautiful. So this is the hardware I'm going to use, and then I'm going to mount the ESC with the plug header going upwards, and then what I'll probably do is just use these little 1 mil spacers to space this. I mean, I might as well throw these in here. Throw 2 of them in again. This will be easier this time though, because the nylocks have been spun around a bunch. So it's this screw hole. Right. And it's also going to be easier because these screws are a little bit shorter. So let's just get this WeHot driver on here, and I can probably zip these on in. Yeah, there we go. Much better. Danzilla the Terrible says, if we judged books by their cover, we definitely wouldn't be hanging out with the gangly legs of you. Very true. Gamma Gonad says, what motors did you end up going with? I have T-Motor 1404 4600s coming for this thing. There's a chance that they're going to get too hot, but they're definitely going to make the power that I want because of the extra kV, so I'm kind of excited by that. I'm hoping that with those motors and with a couple other tricks, I can get the all-up weight on this thing to be pretty much identical to the all-up weight on the QAV Cine. And then one rig will have bigger, beefier motors with a more pitchy prop, and then the other one will have lighter, higher kV motors with a less pitchy prop. And that'll be a really cool kind of comparison between the two. And maybe there'll be something that the one does better than the other. So maybe, like, I don't know, if there's more wind, the one of them will work better than the other. That'd be kind of interesting. So, yeah. Sean Hennessy says, where'd you get the box of screws? I bought the box, and then I just sourced the screws. There really is no great place to get them, which is why on my Etsy store, I have as many different M2 screw lengths as possible for you guys, because they are kind of hard to find. And a lot of times, if you just want to buy some M2 by 6 screws, you have to buy 100 at Amazon. You'll never get through those 100. So yeah, most of my screws have come from motors that I've bought over the years, flight controllers, frames, ESCs, all kinds of stuff. So I've just kind of been hoarding screws over the last 6+ years. There have not been many situations where I've needed to buy screws. But yeah, over on my Etsy store, which is linked on CiottiFPV.com, there are a whole bunch of different screws that you can snag for pretty cheap, basically the cost of shipping. So ESC is going to sit like that, and then I think what I'm going to do is use these little plastic 1mm spacers. We'll just put 2 of them on for right now. And then this guy, I'll probably run the, well, it depends. I'll look at the wiring diagram and keep these wire runs as short as possible. But potentially it'll sit like this. And when I do that, man, these screws are still too long. I need another spacer. Okay, cool. Well, that's good. Maybe these screws aren't too long. It needs a little bit more spacing out, and at that point I might as well use a fancy spacer. Yeah, bring out them fancy spacers, yo. We're gonna go anodized aluminum here and get our fancy on. So the standoffs are all anodized red on this rig. I've got anodized red, but I've also got anodized purple. I think these are 3mm spacers, which is, I probably only need 2mm, but this is fine. I got nothing but room on this stack. And technically speaking, the more space you give the ESC, the easier of a job it's going to have cooling itself down. So yeah, I mean, when you're in the scenario like I'm in, where the standoffs are really tall, you kind of might as well space your flight controller out a little bit more from the ESC. And so yeah, let's do we'll go purple anodized so that we've got our whole red and purple thing going on. And let's see how this clears. Gamagonad says, those are really good motors, lots of power and light for 1404s. Yeah, they are indeed. Have them on the Tadpole HD, the RC and Power 1207s rip on the Cine25 SOB is fast. Nice. Yeah, the T-Motor 1404s are, I think I like them more than the Axis's. The Axis's I've run a bunch. They're probably both damn near identical, but you know, we won't go there. There are a lot of different 1404s available though, but man, the Axis and the T-Motors have the best combination of like lightweight, but also not super notchy. A lot of the 1404s are incredibly notchy, which I am not a fan of. Man, this is still almost not clearing. What if I rotate the flight controller 180 degrees? Let's give that a shot. Yeah, it's much better. That is much better. So I'll probably end up running it like that. Man, these screws are still way too long. Jesus, I could have gone 4mm shorter on them. Realistically. Nah. 2 more millimeters shorter. What would that be? That would be, we were here, we went here, so that would be over here. And I don't have a lot of those. Looks like I only have 8 of those left, so that's actually fine. I'm not going to use those. What I am going to do is just keep spacing this thing out even more. I mean, I might as well. I got the vertical height. I got nothing but vertical height with these tall-ass standoffs. Good Lord. Look at how much height I've got in this build. Look at that. I could almost mount everything in the center and mount the Vista on top of the flight controller stack. But that would dump all of that Vista heat into the stack, and there's just kind of no reason for that. So yeah, no reason to do that. What should I do? I can put a 1mm spacer under. Yeah, because that airflow is kind of blocked, so let's do that. I think I'll leave the current ESC to flight controller spacing, but I'll throw a little 1mm under to just lift the ESC up a little bit. Let's do that real quick. Like, Gabagonad says T-Motor 1404 4600s is definitely my favorite 1404s. There's also a guy on Eva says, can that be slammed at all, or is the full height needed for the motors and props? The full height is not needed for the motors and props. It's needed for these goddamn vertical carbon camera plates. This is why I hate these vertical camera plates, because they eliminate the possibility to slam the build down low. This build is using M2 standoffs, and there aren't many options in M2 standoff heights, so maybe we wouldn't be able to slam it anyway. But yeah, for the record, I am not a fan of the of frames that have vertical carbon fiber camera mounts, because it locks you in. You can't do anything in terms of bringing the build height down, which is, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but like, it's just kind of annoying. So yeah, this cannot be slammed. Denzel the Terrible says swap them out for TPU cam mounts. The yeah, I mean, technically I could, but I would need to find camera mounts that grab onto M2 standoffs, which I haven't seen before. And I mean, it's fine. There's probably little to no benefit to slamming this thing down really low, if I'm honest with myself. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good with that lifted up a little bit. Cool. A little bit more a little bit more cooling on the bottom of the ESC, and then 2mm space-off, 2mm spacer. That'll eat up some of the extra height of the of these standoff screws, and it'll look good. I would also kind of be worried that the a TPU camera mount that's only wrapping around a thin-ass little M2 standoff would be kind of like wobbly, or introduce jello, or any amount of other weird shit that could happen there. So that I'd be a little bit weirded out by that, to be honest. It would probably be fine, but I mean, no real reason to find out the hard way. All right, that's looking good. I might actually put another plastic spacer in there too, just to lift this up a little bit more. Because I don't think I have any 3mm tall spacer options. I think everything is, it goes from like 2mm up to 5mm, and 5 is just way too much. Well, the nylock nuts are, those are 3mm tall, but I don't like using those in between like this, because then you got to get your driver in there, and it's easy to knock a component off the ESC doing that. So I keep the nylock on the bottom and then on the very top, so it doesn't spin off. These little brass guys, so I could totally use these little brass guys. These are 3mm. They're just kind of ugly. And, you know, it's all about pretty builds around here. Okay. So, well, I mean, I could use a tiny whoop grommet. Those are typically 3mm tall. And those are kind of cool because you can squish them down a little bit. But I always worry about that. I always worry about that adding too much soft mounting. So yeah, we're just going to drop a set of plastic spacers on here, and we'll be good to go. 1, 2, 3. What the hell is this one? This one's fucking mangled. Another one. And then one more. No, that one's all mangled too. Doesn't really matter, but cinematic builds, I always make it a point to build smoothly. Or build as clean as possible, rather. So yeah, there it is. I don't really need to do anything else with this ESC. I just want to leave these. I just want to leave the spacers out as a reminder. Technically, I could solder on the XT30. Am I going to do XT30 on this? I am going to do XT30 on this. I could solder up to XT30, but I'm not really in the mood. If I'm honest. I'm hungry and tired, so I think I'm going to shut this mother down, but I am going to get the rest of the hardware out that I need now that I'm thinking about it, so that means 4 more black M2 Nylock nuts. Got all the spacers that I need. I do have some M2 standoffs. I wonder how tall these are. What are these here? Oh, these are a lot shorter. Yeah, I could slam it down, but whatever, it's fine. It's fine. And the DJI camera is like giant. Like, it is a big, thick, fat camera. And if I ever need to, the problem with the DJI camera is how deep it is here. Like right now, this is at 0 up tilt. But if I start adding up tilt to this, well, I have these screws cranked, but when you start adding up tilt on the DJI camera, it gets really tall. So yeah, it can start to hit things. That's why this frame is as tall as it is, because they want it to clear this DJI cam, and that's fine. That's fine. God forbid I ever need to crank the up tilt way up. Having this not be slammed will save me. So that's a good thing. Yeah. Well, it has begun. Little capacitor back here. That'll be nice. Yeah. I can solder the capacitor up to these little pockets that they have here. Put the little XT30 going sideways so that it can run through this hole here. It is set up for toilet tank with all these, but I'm not going to do that. I think I'm just going to run the battery strap around the middle here. Single battery strap on these rigs seems to work really well because the batteries are fairly short and small. So yeah, this will sit on the other side here, and then the battery lead will come up through here like this, and then I can tuck it under the cable, and then the battery lead just comes out the back. So that'll be, it's basically the exact same setup as the QAV Pro. So I'm already kind of ready to go. All right, people, and I did grab a bunch of titanium M2 screws, and I blued them, purpled them with the torch, and so yeah, on the outer 10 most standoffs, it's going to have all titanium screws, and I might keep stealing titanium screws from, like, when I take the Tooth Fairy apart, there are 4 more of these titanium screws on that, so I might rob them. How can I remind myself to do that? Are these stainless screws the same length? They are. So I'm going to steal 4 of these black stainless screws here, and I'm going to put them over on the table to remind myself to replace them on the Tooth Fairy 2. So that's pretty cool. And then I'll probably do the same thing. There's 4 more of these titanium screws on one of these Cinesplores. Is it this one? Nope. This one has all black stainless. So that means that this one here is where the titanium lives. Yeah, there they are. 1, 2. Oh, I only have them in the front. It looks like I'm running out of them. So yeah, I'll actually do this right now. Gank these out of here right now. And then yeah, that AOS Cine25 will have like, it'll be on the biggest crash diet I can possibly throw at it. You know what I mean? Like, trying to save weight with titanium screws is kind of insane. Actually, let me show you how insane it is. Since we're here, let me throw a bunch of titanium screws on the scale and a bunch of these stainless screws on the scale and show you how silly of an idea it is. At least with M2. With M3, you can save some weight. The problem is M3 rigs tend to be freestyle rigs, and they tend to need to be strong, and titanium is not a great... I mean, titanium is strong, but it snaps, and so I don't really recommend you run titanium M3 hardware on 5-inch freestyle rigs, unless you're not going to crash it, but you're going to crash it. Off-Axis says, I've seen people wire capacitors with wire and not as close to the ESC. Your thoughts? I typically do that. I typically put them on wires. It's going to feel very weird to use the little legs on this one. Yeah, I mean, it works totally fine as long as you're not putting a bunch of wire on it. Like, you don't... Yeah, Kebab did some research and some testing, and what he found to be the right length is what he sells. The maximum length is what he sells. So you can buy this set up with a little spike absorber, I think that is, and a capacitor, and he puts these leads, and he says that, yeah, this is it. So like, if it's on my thumb, it's like that. It's like the length of that part of your thumb. So you don't want to... You want to really try to not do wires that are any longer than this. If you do, it's probably not going to be the end of the world. But, you know, best practices are there for a reason. So let me show you something. Let me show you how silly of an idea it is to chase weight savings with titanium. So these are the same screw length. 1, 2, 3. These are M2 by 6. 4. I wish I had more than that. Let's see what 4 of these come up on the scale. Okay, that's enough. So 4 of these stainless steels are coming up at 0.9 of a gram. Give it a second to settle here. Yeah, 0.9 of a gram. And then 4 of these titanium ones, which are just hideously expensive, for the record, are going to come in at 0.6 of a gram. So, yeah, I mean, that's 4 of them. We've got like 10, 11, 12 on the build. So what's it going to save? 1.5 grams? It's just, I mean, like, yes, every gram counts, for sure. For sure. But it's just not quite enough, especially if you're going to have to buy them. If you just have them floating around, it's fine. But if you're going to buy them, yeah, don't do that. That's not the way to save weight. You're going to save way more weight screwing around with different motors or even like propellers. You know, a 3-blade propeller is going to be a lot lighter than like a 4 or 5 or 6. So yeah, there's much better ways to save weight than this, than titanium hardware. All right, friends. I'm going to get some food, and we're going to buy those wired capacitors you just showed. Off-Axis says FPV Cycle. They are Bob's product. Oh, nope. FPV Cycle. I don't know if he still has them, though. Search for capacitor. Hey, you still got them. Look at that. They're kind of expensive, $9 each. But yeah, it's ready to go. It's a TVS diode. That's what it is. It's a TVS diode. It's not a spike absorber. And he also sells this one. Well, he used to. Oh, nope, it's sold out. Never mind. Oh, this is just a capacitor with a cap on there. which is what I normally do. This is what I usually do. Just a capacitor with a little cap from Waffle, and away you go. So yeah. Thanks for hanging, friends. Have a wonderful Friday night. I hope that your 420 was awesome. I'll see you again on Sunday at 3 o'clock, and we'll work on this build a little bit more. Maybe we'll jump in the simulator. Probably not, but we'll see. We'll see what we do. Let me give you a little bit more of the little RC drift cars. What do you think about that? Drop this in here. It's parsing the metadata, guys. Sometimes you got to parse some metadata. Give you a little bit of music here. Paid marketing, beats, dreamy. Is this one any good? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I'm into that one. Oh, God, yeah. Okay, here we go. Here we go, friends. Enjoy some RC drifting. I didn't go this week. Feel kind of bad, but I'll go next week. Can't go every week. All right, here you go. Almost ready for a little outro for you. Black Hole 2 channel. Oh, that's too cool of a shot. I gotta rewind this a little bit. You gotta see this. This is a good little run that I'm on. Oh, yeah. All right, friends, be good. I'll catch you guys on Sunday. Have an excellent Saturday and remainder of your Friday night. Later!